That's for slapping that woman.
That woman was my wife. That's for slapping your wife. Who are you? What are you?
What's going on there, YouTube land and also social media lands? Welcome to an all-new video. This video we're doing a movie review of a newer film that just came out a week or so ago, and is a new Jason Statham film that just rocks. So we're going to go right into that. Before we do that, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss this video and any other videos I put up. So people, if you enjoy my content here on YouTube, definitely check out my other social media platforms, which is X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Patreon. Pretty much post on these regularly, so definitely check them out. So as people, let's get right into this. So welcome on and all to an all new video. So like I was saying before, we're doing a movie review of a new film that just came out about a couple weeks ago, and is a new Jason Statham led film called A Working Man. Yeah, A Working Man. Yeah. So A Working Man is a great action-packed flick. Basically, it takes us on a whole new adventure with Jason Statham, kicking butt and, taking names and all that kind of good stuff. And if you're a huge fan of Jason Statham, he is so well known for doing great action sequences, doing just great action films. I mean, from the Mechanics, films he's done to the Transporters, his performances in the Expendables and so forth and so like that. He just is a really great action star. And you would not expect anything less, and you get that from A Working Man. Now, A Working Man just really delivers everything I was looking for in a great action film. It's really well orchestrated, it's really well directed, filmed, written, and just all around a great film that I just really enjoyed and think it's one of the best of 2025 so far. I just was blown away with how great of a film it was. And the action sequences just were really well done too. And they were really well, choreographed and just really kicked butt and gave us a really solid action film that I think just, rocks it, up there with all the other great action films over the years. And a lot of people love, the Expendables and all that kind of stuff. But we can't forget about great classics like Commando or Terminator 2 or, Cobra or, films all in that kind of genre from, the 80s and 70s and 90s and early 2000s, stuff like that have been just phenomenal. And A Working Man just is, I feel, at that level of how good of a film it is. Now, this film has to be directed none other by a gentleman that goes by the name of Mr. David Ayer. Oh yeah, David Ayer. Woo, David Ayer, yeah! So David Ayer, who is a great action director, you might recognize him as the director of such films as like Fury. You might recognize him as the director of Jason Statham's film from last year, The Beekeeper. And he's done quite a few things over the years and is just a really fantastic action director who I think has really great skills at bringing that to life. I think that he has a really great eye for, action films. A lot of the lines of like, great, stunt performers turned directors, like the gentleman that has brought us to John Wicks and so forth and stuff like that, that have been done really well. And I think David Ayer has that great same eye as those directors and given us really solid films that are always, I feel, very well completed. They're also always, the action is done really well, the story is always really great and very complete, and I also enjoy the people he gets to act in his films, because majority of the time, they are really decent actors and actresses that really work well together and give you a really outstanding performances throughout their film, and that's what he did with this film as well. Now, David Ayer also, I just think, has a really great eye for, just bringing a film to life. And I think that's what he did with this film. Because A Working Man's whole concept is just a really great concept that is very true to today's standards. Simply the fact that it, goes about a great, type of particular, thing that is happening in reality today that they're trying to really kind of stop and keep from happening anymore. And I think that is why this movie is really great and versatile, simply for the fact that it deals with something that is ongoing today that we keep trying to stop. Because, trafficking is such a huge industry, for those on the underground, And this film really, I think, delves deep into that and gives you a really great eye of, this is evil and we need to stop it, basically. And I think David does such a great job of bringing that to life and giving us that solid performance from all the actors and giving us this really solid story that is very true to today. Now, if you haven't seen anything else David Ayer has directed, definitely a great film to check out of his that I think is really fantastic is a great film that came out in 2016 called The Suicide Squad. Yeah! The Suicide Squad. Yeah! Suicide Squad is such a great film. This first iteration of the Suicide Squad is on point, I think. From Margot Robbie's version of Harley Quinn to Bullseye to, many other great characters that are in this. They all just worked so well and made such a great characterization of these DC characters that we haven't seen in live action form yet. And I love what David did with the film because it's very stylized. It's a very great action film. But at the same time, I think the storyline is pretty decent for this DC film, which it could have been better, but overall I still think it's a really great film, and I think David did a great job giving us what he could, especially with, the unrated version versus the PG-13 cut that was in theaters. You can see there was a big difference in how much better of a film the, unrated film was. And I think that there's a lot more potential to it, especially because we keep hearing that, say, release the Ayer cut, So it's definitely a movie I think that's very underrated, and I think it's a really fantastic film. And definitely, if you want to see David Ayer's directing abilities, definitely a film to check out of his. If you haven't seen The Suicide Squad, definitely check it out for David Ayer's directing. He did a really phenomenal job with it. But overall, I really enjoyed what he did with A Working Man. Thought it was a great, awesome collaboration with Jason Statham that worked so well, and just another solid, great film under his directing belt. If you haven't seen David Ayer direct anything recently, go check out A Working Man in theaters now. He did a fantastic job. So this movie has a really small cast, lots of great people in it though. Everyone that was in it, I thought, did a great job with the film, brought it to life, gave it really great compliments, and all were just really worked well together to create this amazing film. But really, there was really two main stars in this film that were really kind of the main people in it, and they all were just did such a great job, and I just really enjoyed them. Now, to start us off is none other than kind of the main man himself, Mr. Jason Statham! Oh yeah, Jason Statham! Woo! Jason Statham! Yeah! Woo! So Jason Statham, of course, you might recognize from The Expendables, like I mentioned earlier. You might recognize him from, of course, The Beekeeper. You might recognize him from Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, Snatch, many other films over the years. He's just an amazing actor that's always fun to watch. And he has done so many great different types of characters. They're usually all kind of very similar, where he's like a very gruff action dude, but usually he has a kind of a good heart and is usually, tries to help people out type of deal. And he just is really good at it and does a really great job, and I enjoy what he brings to the table. And he always does that. And I feel with, A Working Man, he brings that once again. He has always created action, great action, master, and just always brings it to life. And his action sequences are always so well done too as well, especially because he is, I believe I remember correctly, he is trained in the actual martial arts of different things, and he actually does majority of his own stunts and does the choreography and all that kind of good stuff, and you can really see that when he brings it to life in his films, and he did that with A Working Man, and I really enjoyed what he brought to that and gave us this really well-rounded, awesome performance where he just kicked butt the whole film and really, took it to the bad guy, and I thought that was just really well done. Now, if you haven't seen anything else Jason Statham has been in, something to definitely check out of his that I think is a really great film, one of his earlier films, right after he did a couple British action films, kind of action comedy films, and it was kind of, I felt like one of his first, American roles. And that was a film called The One. Yeah, The One. Yeah. So The One is a great film. Absolutely love this film. I think it's a fantastic, awesome, action-packed, sci-fi type film, starring Jason Statham, of course, also Jet Li, Delroy Lindo, and it's just a really great, cool concept. And I absolutely love Jason Statham's character, and he plays like a futuristic cop. and he just is really badass in it, and I just enjoy what he brings to it and how he plays the character, and you actually really enjoy him and like his character, and he just really delivers in it and gives a great performance alongside Jet Li and everyone. And I think it's a very underrated role of his that I don't hear very many people talk about, and so I think it's just a really well done role, and definitely something to check out. If you haven't seen Jason Statham in anything recently, or haven't seen him in anything, definitely check him out in The One. He did a really phenomenal job in that. But overall, he once again was just absolutely fantastic in A Working Man. Another great notch in his filmography, and he just really kicked butt in this film. If you haven't seen him in anything recently, go check him out in A Working Man now. He was absolutely phenomenal. So that brings me to the next actor I'd like to talk about that was in this film, and that is none other than kind of the father of the missing girl in this film, Mr. Michael Pena. Oh yeah, Michael Pena, woo, Michael Pena, yeah! So Michael Pena has been in a whole bunch of stuff over the years. He's always a great bit actor, great character actor, and is always just super enjoyable. He kind of had a lead role in Observe and Report with Seth Rogen, but I really feel he's always just kind of a character actor, and I think he does a great job with that. And I feel definitely that's what he is in this film. He gives a character performance that is really point, but done really well. And I just really enjoy the characterization. I think that he plays a really great father character that is, does a really good job of showing the emotions of a father, and, would be if his kid was kidnapped. And I think Michael did a great job of bringing that to life and giving this a really great performance of a grieving parent. And I think that just Michael did a great job in the film as well too, even in the sequences that he wasn't a grieving parent, but he was just interacting with other people and interacting with his kid and all this kind of stuff. And I think that was done well. And I think that Michael did a great job of bringing that character to life and giving us a really great performance that was just really enjoyable. Now, if you haven't seen Michael Pena anything, definitely great films to check him out in. There's a great Marvel Studios films that came out a few years ago that are just really funny, and he plays a really great side character to this film franchise. And then, of course, the film's called Ant-Man and the Wasp. Yeah! Ant-Man and the Wasp, the Ant-Man series. Yeah! He absolutely is freaking hilarious as the ex-con friend of Scott Lang in the Marvel series, the Ant-Man films. And just the first two, unfortunately, he's not in the third one. And he is so hilarious as his character, especially in the second one when he is all hyped up on caffeine and stuff, and it's absolutely freaking hilarious. And he is just so good at this character, and I love his lines, and I love his cameos, and I just really enjoy everything he brings to life with his characterization of this character. And it's just super freaking funny, especially every time him and Scott have like a conversation. It's on point funny, and it just really shows the great, comedic talent of, Michael Pena, and just how good he is at playing these characters, and just is really awesome. If you haven't seen Michael Pena anything, definitely check him out in the Ant-Man films. He was absolutely superb in them, and just really a great addition to those films. And, like I said before, I think he was absolutely fantastic in A Working Man. I thought he did a great job, and I thought he was just a really great addition to this film, and I just really enjoyed him. If you haven't seen Michael Pena anything recently, go check him out in A Working Man. He was absolutely fantastic. So that brings me to the final actor I'd like to talk about that was in this film. And that is none other than a good friend of Jason Statham in the film, Mr. David Harbour! Oh yeah, David Harbour! Woo! David Harbour, yeah! So David Harbour, you might recognize, of course, from the Stranger Things TV series on Netflix. You might recognize him from a few other things over the years, the Hellboy reboot and so forth. And he is just a really great actor who, any film he's in, I absolutely fall in love with him, because there's just something about him that you cannot not just like. You just want to be his friend. You want to not like him, It's not that type of feeling. It's you always just feel like he's a dude you could talk to and want to be friends with, and that's just how good David Harbour is, and how good he is at portraying those characters. And that's how he makes me feel in A Working Man. His character is very much like a good friend of Jason Statham's character, and he just plays that same type of character that you cannot not like, and just you want to be his friend, and you want to see more of him, and you want him to be in more of the movie. And I wish he had bigger scenes in the film, but overall the ones he gave were on point and awesome. I love that he plays like a blind character too. I thought that was kind of interesting. You know, a former, you know, veteran that, you know, was with Jason Statham and when he was in the Army, and, you know, unfortunately he lost his eyesight. And I think that David does a great job of bringing that to life, and, you know, being supposedly blind, I thought he did a really good job, and given that performance, pretending to be a blind person. And I just thought it was really a great addition to the storyline, great character to add to being, you know, in the same line as Jason Statham's character, which was really awesome. So I thought David was just really good as this character, and just super enjoyable in the film. Now, if you haven't seen anything else David Harbour has been in, definitely a great film to check out him in. It is just, I think, one of my more favorite roles of his of recent that he just really blew me out of the water with is his great character of Red Guardian in Black Widow. Yeah, Black Widow. Yeah. So with the upcoming Thunderbolts film coming out, if you haven't seen Mr. Harbour as Red Guardian, definitely check out Black Widow before you go see Thunderbolts. But Black Widow is one of those films that I wasn't sure how good it was going to be. You know, it wasn't my all-time favorite of the MCU in all the MCU films, but David Harbour's performance as Red Guardian was the best part of that film. He was absolutely freaking hilarious and awesome and funny, and everything about that character was so awesome. His look and everything is really cool, but his presentation and like the voice and stuff like that was really on point, you know, being this Russian type of character. And at the same time, though, he's like that same type of like big teddy bear that wants to take care of you type of deal, fatherly figure thing, and he just plays it so stinking well. And he just is so stinking funny as this character, too, because he has some of the greatest one-liners in Black Widow that are so freaking hilarious. And he just really brought the character to life and gave us this really outstanding performance, I think, that he should get more kudos for, but just how great he was as a character. If you haven't seen David Harbour, definitely check him out in Black Widow. He was absolutely superb in the film. But overall, I thought he was a great addition to A Working Man, and I think he was just really fun to watch in this film, and he just is a pleasure to see in the film. If you haven't seen David Harbour recently or anything, go check him out on A Working Man. He was really fantastic. So what is A Working Man about? Basically, the premise of the story is Jason Statham works as a construction worker for Michael Pena. And unfortunately, one night, Michael Pena's daughter is out and gets kidnapped and forced into human trafficking. And it's up to Jason Statham basically to go find her, save her, and bring her home. And it's basically about that and what he has to do in order to save this girl. It's a really fantastic film, so well done, so well directed, so well acted by everyone. Great soundtrack, one of the best opening sequences I've seen in a movie in a really long time. Great, I feel, a really great homage to, you know, veterans out there, and just, I thought it was so beautiful and such great music to start this movie off with. It's absolutely fantastic. Definitely makes you just want to be like Jason Statham sometimes, to be like, I'm gonna kick some butt, you know, type of deal. He just is so awesome and cool, and this is just a really fantastic, great film. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend you go check it out in theaters now. Giant 10 golden movie boxes up. Definitely be added to the collection. It is, I think, just a really well-rounded film that kicks butt and is just really fun. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out now in theaters. So that's it for this movie review, guys. As always, thank you for watching, thank you for liking, and also thank you for subscribing. And if this is your first time here or you have been before, don't forget to check out any other new videos you might not have seen mine yet. As always, people, a huge shout out to my new and old subscribers. Thank you so much for being a part of this channel. And as always, if you want to show some more support for the channel and want to help the channel out to become better and better, please check out my Patreon page, where once you become a Patreon member on my Patreon, you get access to so much cool stuff you don't get here on my YouTube channel. So go ahead, please, check that out and see about supporting this channel. As always, catch you in the next one.